Hello and welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So I have not sat down in a while to do a video, but I did have a vlog post that I did. So go ahead and check out that video where it was all about Brooklyn Book Festival. And it was long, so I didn't really talk much about total overall. I did do a blog post on my experience, and what I would say is one of the best book festival I've ever been to. It was well organized, and it's a free festival. It's completely free, and these authors volunteer to be there, and the staff is there volunteer, and it was just such a great experience where it was organized. There was no, I can't come up with one bad experience I had. What I would say is because I went there before, I was prepared. So I knew who I wanted to see. I had prior books that I was able to bring with me. So I wanted the author to sign, as well as I was able to budget myself and pick up books there. So other thing I like to say about this festival is how great it was to see other authors supporting other authors. Like you had authors that had books a couple years ago where they were popular, and now they're at the festival as fans of the authors who are there. Showcasing their books and discussing it. So that was really nice. It was just, I was sitting there looking like, wow. And what I would say, there's a lot of black authors at this festival, which is the first I've ever seen at any book festival I've ever been to. And so that was nice. And there was a mixture of debut authors and also legend. You know, you had Walter Mosley, you had Terry McMillan and Bernice McFadden. These are authors that has, 10 to 50 books published. So it was nice seeing them and learning some insight of where they get their creative vision when they're doing books, how they write. It was especially like Terry McMillan, how she talks about experiencing and sometimes learning lessons, and how you go from there in writing your story that sometimes reflect a part of you. And then you had Walter Mosley, who writes his story in the middle, and he just starts in the middle and works his way from the front to the back. It's weird how he does, when he was talking about how he created his stories. But one thing about him, because he has over 50 books published, he was so raw and honest and didn't care what people think. And how he pushed his latest book, where it was turned down like 17 times, and he wasn't willing to change it because he's at a point in life. He wants to create what he wants to create, not necessarily creating books to make a publisher happy or making certain kind of fans happy. This is a book where he's hoping someone would get something from it. So that was great. So I'm going to start off with books that I've read and bought before the festival. So we have Snap, and this book made it to the long list, Man Booker long list, and it is a crime thriller, so they say. But I'm not going to go into depth. I did read it already, and I agree. So when it didn't make the short list, I was like, So that's how I feel about this one. The next book is, I haven't read it yet, but it is Miss Octavia Butler, Parallel with Talent. And I read the first one last year, which was one of my favorite books of last year. So this is part 2, and I love the cover, so I made sure I was hunting for this cover, but because when I tried to buy it online, it was just they had like another cover, and I'm like, no, this need to match the first book. So I was really excited when I saw this, and it's like, yes, the right cover. So I'm gonna read this in October. I always read Octavia Butler in October. I try not to read too many of our books throughout the year because I'm trying to like save them, I don't want them to end. So this will be, I think, number 10 on the list that I've read, that I will read. So yeah, I'm all for this. The next book is Praise Song for the Butterfly. I did get this prior to the Brooklyn Book Festival. I read it already. But I also met Bernice McFadden, so I was super psyched that she signed the book. So that was exciting. I did a written review of this book. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a video, but I did a written review on my blog, so you can go check it out. And I'll talk more about this during my wrap up. So I picked up this tote bag, and to be honest, it's not packed how I had it. It was packed because I took some of the books out that I got signed. Like I bought, How to Get the Classic Disappearing Act, which Terry McMillan did sign, and I also got this one signed as well. Jintu, and she was really sweet too. I haven't got that far in this book. I mean, literally, but I need to finish reading it. So, yeah. So these are all books that I picked up at the Book Festival. I love the bag this year. I love that they had a zipper on top. It is very heavy duty. It can handle heavy books. So first one is I Almost Forgot About You, which is the latest book from Terry McMillan, which she didn't talk much about this book. She did a reading from her next book, which is sounds like it's gonna be real good. I did in the video that I posted, you can hear her reading some of the book. But she always have these family relationship kind of drama. So, you know, another one of those. The next one is I always try to get a graphic novel or a cartoon comic book whenever I go to these festivals. And this year I picked up Killing and Dying, and this one is Adrian Tolman, but he seemed like was popular. There was just a crowd around him, and he was just had a lot of books around him, and I was like, okay, let me see. What I like is this is a collection of 4 stories, I believe, and they're all different. So some look like traditional cartoon comic books feel to it, and then one of them look more of a graphic novel feel to it. So he's pretty good, and you know, it's nice when you get like when these graphic novel comics, you know, when they sign your book and then they create all this thing. So he drew this, and you know, that was kind of cool. So the next book I have is the only book I never got signed because the author wasn't there for whatever reason, but it is called Forbidden Food, and Stanley Gazimba, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but the cover got my attention, guys. I saw this and I was like, come here, come here, come here. I didn't even know what it was about at first. And basically it's a young boy who did a harmless crime, and he tried to cover it, and how he covered it, he's worried about being found out. But it's more like it looked like a more of a mystery thing. But it got awards. It's a Kenyan writer, and but the cover, oh my God, the cover is like screaming, yes, yes. The next book is from Omar Epps, and it's From Fatherless to Fatherhood. And this is it's a brief memoir. It's very short, but when he was reading this, I thought it was interesting because he talks about his days where when he got his first major movie, which was Juice. You know, if you watch Juice, you know how he was, you know, in pop. So I saw this and I was like, I said yes. When I saw him on the list, I'm like, I'm a fan. I love Juice. I love Love and Basketball and House and all the other stuff that he's been in. So I naturally was just one to see him. I didn't care. But when he started reading a few of the pages, I was like, this sounds like it's gonna have a lot of like juicy things in there, but also, you know, it's struggle of being fatherless, and now he's you know, having these kids, and this long marriages he's been in with Keisha from Total. So, you know, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna read this before the end of the year and review it. The next book that I got was She Would Be King, and Way Too More, I think that's how you pronounce her first name. And oh, she was a sweetheart. Oh, she was a sweetheart. I met her, and she signed as well. All the books I'm showing you are all signed by the author. And this book seemed interesting. You know, anytime I hear a book and it had like an African vibe, but then it was like, yes, there's a Jamaican too. I was like, what? So there's 3 characters, and they all have a spiritual gift, perhaps maybe it's a curse, and it stems from Africa, where they're one, I think, in still Africa, the other one is come to America, the other one goes to Jamaica, and it's a different line. I don't know how they intertwine, but it seemed like it's going to be one of those interesting ones, and it's perfect for October, so I'm definitely going to be reading this one next, probably this weekend. I'm going to start reading this, but yeah. And the last book I got, so guys, yeah, I did good. I did not get a lot of books. I wasn't doing it. Was John Woman by Walter Mosley. And this book, I was not sure because the title is a bit weird. But when he was talking about it, I was like, okay. So it's a man committed a crime, and then now he's living his life as a woman. And there's a lot of shenanigans going on in this book that he's talked about. But it just seemed like a juicy book. But the title just weird. But Walter Mosley hasn't disappointed me yet. So hopefully this one, this is the one where he had 17 attempts before someone finally decided to publish it, where he got a lot of no's. It's if for him to get that much, there's things in this book that's probably going to be a little bit much. Why, a lot of publishers didn't want to touch it. So we'll see. But, it's Walter Mosley. So we'll see. So that's it. I am still finishing up Sweatpants season by Danielle Allen. Yeah, that cover and that book. I love the characters in this. It's just a slow to me because it's more like a chill kind of storyline romance. There's not no drama. There's not no crazy nothing. This is like a chill weekend in your house, pajama up, some hot chocolate, and you sit and reading this book. That's the vibes I'm getting from this book. So I like it. It's just not something that I'm just like, oh yeah, it's so much drama, I want to flip the page. It's more like a chill, sweet kind of story. So I'm about 61% in the book. I'm definitely going to finish it before the end of the month and give a full opinion on the story. So yeah. And that is it, guys. I hope this video wasn't too long. I was trying to talk fast, but yeah. And how you liking fall? Can we get summer back? Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, all that stuff I never say, but I don't know why I'm saying it now. But anyway, thank you, and all the new subscribers, thanks for joining. All right, bye.